Hello, my beautiful Sagittarius family. As always, it feels so good to be with you all. I get so excited every time I get to do the Sagittarius reading. This is the energy that just lights me up and makes me smile. You all are just some of my favorite people, some of my favorite energy in the world. And so here we are. Let's explore together. This is a really potent month for a couple of reasons. On the one hand, it's very dynamic, very playful, very curious, and full of compassion and wisdom. On the other hand, this is a month that is very much about deep internal healing, shaking off the trauma and the stress of the last 2 years. And while, of course, the world continues to be a complex and messy place, where, we continue to have things that we have to explore and understand and process. It is important to take some time, though, to acknowledge what's already come to pass and release. This is going to be a big part of your journey this month, Sag. And in some ways, I feel like you're at the very heart and center of this whole process. We start off the month, of course, in Aries season, which is always such a nice, warm, wonderful feeling for fire signs. For you all, this is really activating that heart chakra energy, that creativity, that play. I would say it's really important this month in general for you. Let your weird, wacky, wonderful side have moments to sing out loud, whatever that is. If that's alone in your apartment dancing to some weird music, if that's splattering paint on a canvas, if that's having some wacky conversations with some good friends, wherever it is that you find that you are allowing yourself to be so authentically yourself. Not because you're like having to be the optimist in every situation, pick up everybody's mood, or because you need to fix anything, but because you get to just be you. You just get to be your own unique space blob in the world. I want you to play with that, explore with that, and not feel like you have to hold everything together all the time with your brightness. It can look in many different ways, however that weirdo wants to come out of you. So that's very important this Aries season. We also have Venus and Mars moving through Pisces this month, which is adding an element of deep compassion and healing to the entirety of Aries season. And for you all, this is going to be about taking care of your home hearth. So taking care of you, like how you feel safe. This is nervous system reset energy in a big way for Saggies. And it's very important that you are cultivating that parasympathetic nervous system, which is known as the rest and digest part of our nervous system. You want to make sure that's getting activated as much as possible wherever you can do that. So deep breathing, going on walks, being in environments that let you take off any of the hyper aware, vigilant parts of yourself and allow yourself to relax. Super, super important. Now that theme continues into Taurus season. We have the sun moving into Taurus, Mercury will move through Taurus. And we're also beginning eclipse season during Taurus season. There's a new moon solar eclipse at the very end of the month in Taurus. For you all, this is going to be about how you connect to your physical body. And whether that's shaking it out, it's moving. This is going to be about redefining your rituals, the way you show up in your day-to-day, and allowing tension, stress, and trauma to leave your body at this time. Deep, deep healing stuff going on here. And I think the world, I think this is how these things go hand in hand. The playfulness, the letting your true space blob self do its thing, the then doing some deep healing and finding those quiet moments. All of this goes really, really hand in hand. And I think sometimes I'm giving you kind of like a big platter, right, of things you got to do this April. But for me, I think it's not so much about a 24-hour-a-day schedule as much as it is incorporating 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and just making it a priority and a commitment for yourself that you're doing that. 2 more cards wanted to come out. Well, we're getting just all the major arcana, Lovers and Death. Just the major emo vibes going on there. It doesn't need to be this massive overhaul. It's just a matter of committing to those little detailed moments where you just decide you're going to dance, you're going to dance around randomly to that song. You're going to make that weird art, whatever it is that you're going to do. I don't know. How would I know? One more card, 9 of Swords. The the worrier. Okay, I'm going to pull one final card from my Animal Totem Tarot. My brain's trying to work today. To round out our chat and see what wants to appear. And it is Stingray, Two of Wands. Oh, Two of Wands is one of my favorite energies. It's very Sagittarian, actually. Okay, let's talk about these cards. Because you got some very, very big, bold, juicy energy here, my friends. And I do think it's important for the shaking out the physical tension, playing, because you've got some things that are coming up. They're going to be asked to really bring that Sag heart to. And we want to get you prepared for that. We want to get you in a visionary place. We want to get you where you feel like you can connect with that visionary, flowing, trusting part of yourself so that you can really be there for it. And that is what these messages are telling me right now. So right off the bat, the World. This is a graduation card. Whenever this card shows up, I just think, oh, something's been learned. Something's been, over the course of a long process, a very quiet, slow process, something has culminated into a whole. And there's that point, it's that critical mass point where we've practiced this thing enough, or we've explored the thing enough, or we've healed enough that suddenly we can see with fresh eyes again. Suddenly new opportunities are coming in. Suddenly, where maybe there was a gray spot or a feeling of emptiness somewhere, there's a feeling of light and life and play and happiness. You've completed something. And when I think about going into this eclipse season and this Taurus season and all of that, and I think about how just a few months ago, we finished up the South Node in Sagittarius, and we're really just coming to the first time we're going to have an eclipse season without it like touching directly on you. There is something that has culminated and been learned, and this is a really exciting time. I just want you to take some time this month to really acknowledge what it is that you have learned, the wisdom you have gained, and what you've just been through, why maybe sometimes you felt tired or uninspired, and how it makes sense. It glues together, but also how it's time to move forward into some new things, and you are being deeply invited into some new pathways that may be surprising to you. I think though that you may not see that whole picture for the next couple of months are going to be about getting the clues and the hints about some of those surprises and some of those new pathways. So just keep that in mind, that April and May are both going to be very potent for you when exploring these things. Now, part of this with the World, we're getting the Lovers, of course, right? Such fun cards. The Lovers, yes. What can I say? This is about joy. At its essence, the Lovers card is about deep joy. Deep commitment to joy. And yes, this is love. This is connection. This is going deeper. This is diving deeper. This is getting into the good stuff of life. This is deep connection, deep healing via connection as well. As much as we have to do our own internal healing and choose that for ourselves. The Lovers card is, I think, an acknowledgement as well of how much healing we do with others who witness us and love us through everything. And depending on, maybe you already are in a partnership, it's going to get deeper. For those of you who are looking for that connection, this is a time where that energy is just kind of percolating for you. It's just there. There's a desire for that connection. There's a desire. It's almost magnetic energy that is just pulling and pulsing around Sages again. And it's so exciting to see it. And for me, the Lovers, it can be totally about romantic partnership, 100%, of course. And if that's something that's really calling to you, you might notice that there are a lot more little exciting tinglings going on there. But for me, the Lovers too is like a deep connection to something that calls to us, whatever that is, a work, a creative project, an idea that is starting to foment. It's about being in love with the world. And these two cards are about getting back into that deep Sag optimism that's really, really potent and powerful, and working with the ingredients that you have at hand, which is one of the things that Sages are so good at doing. Now we do have a couple more intense cards, I'll admit, like Death and Nine of Swords go deep. And like I said, this month is this interesting combination of playful, expansive, creative, ingenuity, and like exploring and just going for it, and deep healing. And Venus and Mars doing their work in Pisces is part of that. The eclipse season is part of that. And the North Node moving through Taurus is part of that as well. We are all healing at this time. We are all getting out of the fractured state of being kind of like a broken mirror that's got all these pieces shattered everywhere, into coming into a feeling of wholeness and oneness here. And I'm seeing that for Sages. And this is part of your process too, of releasing that tension, releasing those places that have felt a little agitated or out of sorts for a while. We're wanting to own them, take care of them. So the Death card for me, this is about kind of the process of letting go of who you felt like you've been the last couple of years. It's not that it was wrong or that, you made a mistake in thinking of yourself a certain way. It's just that we keep evolving in life, and every season has its emphasis and its focus. And there were certain things that Sages were having to explore and focus on, and a lot of learning that was happening, and even new doors that were opening while that was happening. However, the Death card is always a signal that it's time to shed a skin. It's time to take off the weight of a heavy cloak that you may have needed to ride through the cold, dark woods, or to get through a journey. It is time to let that go and release and breathe and find, your lightness again. Death is a card that shows up in the middle of the major arcana. It's the number 13 out of 22 cards in the major arcana. It's in the midst of a journey. So this is not about beginnings and endings as much as it is about embracing that we are in the middle of it, and that we can't carry everything with us, and we're not being asked to do that. One of the most important elements of the Death card is the sunrise that we are walking into at this time, and being willing to look toward that sunrise. So it's really, really beautiful energy. And part of this healing, though, has to do with the Nine of Swords. This is the card. It always makes me think of waking up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then your mind just starts going, and it's trying to solve problems and make everything happen. And I know people who are of 2 different camps. One camp, which is more like me, waking up and it's just like, I can't solve problems in that headspace, because it's just me worried and seeing the world from this kind of like dark perspective, very anxious perspective. I know other people, including my beautiful Sagittarius sister, who she wakes up in the night and she's coming up with ideas, and she just gets up and starts like doing the ideas, like writing or creating whatever it is she wants to create, and that she has a great time doing that. So we're all different, but the Nine of Swords is that part of ourselves that is a little freaked out by existing, worried, wants to make sure, did we do everything? Do we take care of everything? Am I missing a step? Is it okay? As much as I think Sagittarian energy is known for its free-spiritedness and its lightness and its curiosity and its go with the flowness, I think most Sages deep down are hiding the fact that they actually really crave some anchoring and some stability and some safety and some consistency. And that's something they really, really need. We all need that if you have Sag energy with you, because we need something to help us to balance out the floaty free-spiritedness. And the Nine of Swords is that part of ourselves that's worried and concerned. But rather than try and kind of ignore the worried person, the worried being inside of ourselves, the worried part of our brains and our nervous systems, and just kind of pretending it's not there, what we want to do is we want to take care of this part of ourselves. We want to hear what it's trying to tell us. It's not, when we actually listen to it, we're going to say, oh, sweetie, that's not a real concern. It's okay. Like, I know you think that if we don't check that box on that form that we're going to get in big trouble or something not going to go right, but it's okay. I promise you. But we just want to take care of the part of ourselves that's frazzled and fried at this time and give it voice, allow it to be expressed and released so that it can move through our bodies. And that's what the Death and the Knight of Swords cards are all about. So whatever that is, maybe it's anxiety for you. Maybe it's been some anger or frustration that you need to let process through your body. Maybe it's a deep sadness and a grief for something that you have been moving through. It can be any and all of those things. But the Death and the Nine of Swords card is saying that while it's good to play and be visionary, and we're going to be working with this world lovers energy, I tell you what, also make sure that you take care of the part of yourself that needs to be processed and let go at this time, because our final card is the Stingray, the Two of Wands. And this is visionary energy if I ever saw it. This card always makes me think of a gateway or a doorway. Almost all decks will have the Two of Wands standing there. And it's like this doorway that you're standing at and you're looking out of it. And it's almost like stepping into a different timeline, a different version of life. Like you can look through this door, and if you step through it, you'll be somewhere a little different, in a slightly different world. And you're looking there and you're envisioning it and you're connecting with it. So the final message for this month is that it's important to look beyond the familiar. And let yourself be surprised. You will be doing some new and different things as this year keeps elapsing, and as we move through it, you will be surprised by what creative ventures are going to be asking you to join them and to connect with them and to make beautiful things. And the only way we are really going to be able to access that is if we are feeling calm, if we are feeling that we have heard and acknowledged all the parts of ourselves and let them move through our bodies regularly, so that we can be totally open and we can be back in that Sag optimism. And that's really what is wanted and desired here from the universe, from this month of April. There's a desire for Sagittarian energy to feel whole and complete and at peace, so that that creative voice and vision can be a part of the conversation in big and important ways in the coming years, because it is an important voice. It's one that I think I have a strong conviction has the potential to really help heal this world when we're feeling our best. So it's important. This is important that you do this for yourself and for the world. So I love you, Sages. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch on Patreon this coming month. We're going to be doing all of our activations. We're going to be exploring Pluto retrograde. We're going to be exploring the eclipse season. We're going to be exploring how to work with the energies that are coming up, including a Mercury retrograde in Gemini season, all sorts of things. I'd love to see you there. It's a really great way for me to give back to you and to do more work. I would also love to see you here. It really makes a big difference if you like and subscribe and comment, so I can keep showing up to do this work here, and let it continue to be a big part of my life. So I would really appreciate that. Plus, I love having you around. And you can find me on Instagram. I will leave the one true handle around so you know where to find me. There's only one. And you can find me on my website and my email. So I will see you, I hope, in all of those places. And have a gorgeous April, my beautiful Sagittarius family.